Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Good to be with you. And hopefully you had a great Easter weekend. And we look forward to our little chat this morning. And who's on with us number one this morning as we do our roll call? Haven't seen a name yet. There's Brahim. Numero uno, Brahim from Portland, Oregon. Rosa from Montreal. And we appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, Lori Lee, Ventura, California. And Francis Marie, Holly, South Carolina. Bill, how is you? Annalisa, how are you? Mike from Norland. And Sandra from Brampton. Wendy from London. Good morning. Rita, how are you? And Anne, St. Catharines. Nice to have you on. Say hello to Peter. Jeanette, how are you? Donna, Bell Valley. Betty Lynn. Cecilia. Had a great Easter. Thanks, Cecilia. Wanda. Virginia. Yolande, bonjour. Gloria from New York. Linda. Oh, I love Lindas. You know that. And anyone else coming on here this morning? We say hello to a few more before we get going. Hey, my scroll's actually slowed right down here this morning. Oh, there's a few more. Faye, good morning. How are you? Jody, nice to have you on. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. You have no idea. Yeah? Hey, the scroll is slow. Don't ask me why. Brenda, Campbell River, British Columbia. So we go, guys, coast to coast, all around the world. And John from Elgin, Illinois. Been listening for a long time, John. Thanks for coming on. Regina and Heather, Miramichi, Fran, Valkaren, Rosalinda, good to have you on. And Rita, and Louise, and Nick from our staff, and Chantal, Espinola, Dora, and from Manitoba, Grace Fenwick. Sandra from Aurelia, Waterloo is Dale, and Sandy from Washington State. Coast to coast, guys. Leela, how are you from Verner? Nice to have you on. I know there's so many that I don't get to say hi to, but I'm saying hi to all those who are not, their name's not posted up there, okay? And I don't know why that happened. Andrew from Australia. How are you, Andrew? Bonnie and Kevin. I missed you, Kevin. I honestly did not see your name. Claudette. I always look for Kevin's name. All are familiar. And Lisa Marie. Okay, well, let me do... there's a couple of studies at Cheryl. How are you? Deb. I miss Deb from Timmins. Oh, I don't know how that happened. Honestly, I didn't see your name. Okay? Now, I know I'm old, so it may be me. It may not be the scroll. I don't know. Okay. Now, this is a study out of Italy. Okay? And because my wife is Italian, I do this. I like looking for Italian studies. Okay. No, this one came out very interesting. And it was, where did I see it? In the Journal of, hold on a minute. I think I have the journal's name here somewhere. Yeah, it was in the Journal of, oh, here it is. European Journal of Nutrition. Okay? This was a study done on the link between obesity and autoimmune disease. Okay? And it was a very fascinating look into autoimmune. And, they mentioned a few of them here: MS, psoriasis, type 1 diabetes. And they said, okay, here's the conclusion of the studies. There is, and let me quote them, there's a clear correlation between obesity and autoimmune. Okay? Autoimmune. There's a link. And I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with it. And why are we seeing, okay, so let's just bring out what the study, we're going to unpack this a little bit here this morning because I think it's worth looking into. Why is there so much today autoimmune disorders? Okay, the numbers are frightening, really. North America, like it's crazy. This study was done in Italy. But North America especially, we are seeing a huge uptake of autoimmune disease. MS, Parkinson's, Sjogren's, thyroid, which is either Hashimoto's or Graves'. Look at the gut, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, IBD. These things on the skin, look at psoriasis and eczema. And they're being multiplied. It's not like we never saw them before, but they are taking off on steroids in terms of numbers. And the question is, why? Okay, why? And this study done in Italy by the head of the study was, let me give you his name, just because I read it, Dr. Giuseppe, okay? Maturese, professor of immunology at the University of Naples, not Naples, Florida, but Naples, Italy. And his conclusions is there's a direct correlation between obesity and autoimmune. Now, he says a couple of things in here that they looked at. One, when you are carrying extra weight, okay? And I don't have it with me, but if I was to show you, picture in your mind, you guys have seen it in the past, at least those who follow me. You've seen me show you either 1 pound of fat or 5 pounds of fat. I've got both of them, okay? And 5 pounds of fat is about this big. It's about 1 foot long and at least 6 inches wide. 5 pounds of fat. So when people tell you, I only lost 5 pounds, I want to grab them and shake them a little bit. You only lost 5 pounds? Well, you lost a lot. 1 foot long and 6 inches wide is 5 pounds of fat. Okay? So when you lose weight, you'll lose a little bit of muscle, but primarily you're losing fat. Okay? So when you lose 5 pounds of fat, and that's usually around your organs, okay, your body starts to burn that off. That is a very, very good thing. But now let's get back, get in your vision now, visualize this without looking at it. 5 pounds of fat. You take out the fat and just look at it. What does fat do? Okay? What does it do? Because this is the link to autoimmune. Okay, what does it do? What is that fat producing in your body? Okay? Well, it's sort of like an organ unto itself. Okay? Like a sort of a self-governing organ. You don't see it like that, but really, it has its own, how would I say that? Hormones. Hormones. Fat releases inflammation because your body, believe this or not, it's true. You have to believe it because it's true. When your body looks at fat, okay, like that 5 pounds of fat, you know what your body sees? A foreign invader. Okay? A foreign invader. So what does that do inside your body? Well, it releases inflammation because your body releases inflammation at the very site of that 5 pounds. Your body says, oh, that is a foreign object. What is it doing inside the body? The body sees it as foreign, and therefore you develop a silent inflammatory response. You might not even know it. Unless you take a test, a CRP test, C-reactive protein, you wouldn't even know it. You got no symptoms of it. It's often silent. But inflammation is, again, if you kick me in the knee, I'm going to have inflammation. Immediate. The body's ambulance system rushes to the site. And it releases cytokines, and it releases proteins, and it releases enzymes, and it releases anti-inflammatory, or inflammatory concoctions. No, but it's, and then you rub it. You rub your knee because you just kicked me, right? And I rub it, and guess what? I'm bringing extra blood supply there, and that's all right. Because once the healing, it's the ambulance, and then it goes away. But what if it doesn't go away? Well, now inflammation, which was your friend, becomes your enemy. Because it's long lasting, and that starts to destroy healthy tissue. Okay, so just understand that. And listen, then you get a double whammo. Okay, fat, especially around the organs, releases inflammation. 2, fat releases estrogen. And it holds on to estrogen. You become estrogen dominant. Men become estrogen dominant. Why is that not good for a man? Because it affects the prostate. The prostate swells. Women, you gain weight. You already have fat. And you create inflammation, and it's an estrogen receptive organ. Well, it's not really an organ, but it acts like an organ. It accepts estrogen, loves estrogen. And estrogen, what does that do? Makes things grow. That's why obesity and even breast cancer, obesity really ups the ante on breast cancer. Well, it ups the ante in any cancer, but breast cancer, because your cells become much more estrogen receptive. Okay? So you have inflammation. It's no longer your friend. The body sees it as a foreign invader. Okay? And again, because of the release of cytokines, you get sort of a storm. And for some people, not everyone, but there's a huge connection, and this is what the study was saying, there's a huge connection to autoimmune. So what's happening is the body that sees this as a foreign invader turns on itself. Auto, meaning self, immune. And the immune system is wonky. Instead of fighting bacteria and viruses, it's fighting itself. And this doctor, and I mean the lead author on the study, was saying there's a huge link. And guys, we've been talking about this for a long time. Not necessarily the obesity, but food. Okay? So let me bring in what the study didn't bring in. It didn't get into it. It just said, well, obesity, there's a direct correlation between obesity and the increase in autoimmune today. I don't disagree at all. Okay? But what have I been saying for years and years and years? Okay? And we'll talk about the gut in a minute. Because what does the Martin Clinic always say? Autoimmune, leaky gut. Never seen an exception to it in my practice, ever. Autoimmune, leaky gut. And we'll connect this in a minute. Now, when there is inflammation caused by this extra organ in the body, especially around the organs, around that fat around the liver, the fat around the heart, the fat even around the gut, okay? Again, your body sees it as a foreign invader. But how did it get there? Because they didn't talk about that, but I'm going to talk about that. How do you get that fat? It's food. It's not genetics. It's food. And it's not the fat you're eating. It's the carbs you're eating, the sugars you're eating. That's what causes that extra organ to grow. And for some people, that can lead to autoimmune and that inflammatory response and what we call a cytokine storm. And I like the way Tony Jr. explains the cytokine storm. It says the cells, it's like there's a fog. Have you ever been out on a foggy day and you can't see 5 feet in front of you because of fog, especially at night? Right? And he said that's what happens with inflammation in the body. It's a fog of war because the cells are not communicating with each other properly. I like that illustration. Okay? I love illustrations. That one, I like that. The cells don't communicate properly. If they don't communicate properly, even the immune system can go wonky. Your T cells are not communicating with each other. Your mast cells, M-A-S-T, those are cells that release histamine. You know when you get allergies and you take an antihistamine, you're knocking histamine down. Okay? And when you get, and I get this question all the time. I'm just going to take one little side rabbit trail just for half a second. People that have, okay, they throw out a word. Oh, Dr. Martin, I have histamine intolerance. I said, nah, you don't. You have leaky gut. Okay? You can't get histamine intolerance without leaky gut. Okay? So, I'm going to bring this back a step. How do you get leaky gut? Okay? Well, leaky gut is something you don't see, but you experience. You don't see it. Leaky gut is a microscopic event. It's actually a submicroscopic event. And, I use the illustration of the tight border, okay? Nothing gets between your gut and your blood. You have a border there. And you got border guards there. And they don't allow any foreign objects. No yeast, no gunk, no poop. There, I just grossed you out. No junk gets in the blood when you have a good border. But what if you don't have a good border? What if you took antibiotics? Okay? 5 days. Years ago even. And your microbiome got, now your border becomes porous. You don't even know it. But you get canaries in the coal mine. They're people that start getting symptoms and they have no idea why. Dr. Martin, why do I have psoriasis? Leaky gut. Why do I have eczema on my skin? Leaky gut. Why do I have an unexplained rash? Leaky gut. Yeah. And guys, it can be leaky gut. It can be leaky lungs filled with mucus because your body's overreacting to fungus or yeast. Sinuses. Dr. Martin, post-nasal drip. Yep. Leaky gut. And last week we talked about having a good stomach even, full of acid. Because leaky gut can start up because your stomach acidity is not good enough and stuff gets through the stomach that has no business getting through there. It should have been mulched and liquefied, and it gets into the small intestine and it hasn't been digested properly, and now your body sees it as a foreign object. And you develop inflammation. So obesity, even 5 pounds of fat that's around your organs makes you more susceptible, according to this study, of autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease. And they're going, like the study's conclusion is, like, holy moly. They don't see, like, they didn't talk about, like, the solution. They just talked about how bad it is. And that guy's over in Italy. He should have come to the United States and Canada. If he thinks it's bad in Europe, come to North America. Canada, the United States, Mexico. Terrible statistics. It's food. It's food. It's eating the wrong foods. This is why I love the reset. Talked to you about this a million times. And by the way, my new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, okay, coming, boy, the publishers, okay, has the reset in it. So people that, that were, Dr. Martin, I want to get a copy of the book, The Reset. You're going to get a copy of it when the new book comes out, because I have a whole section in that book on the reset. And you'll like it, because even for those who have the metabolic reset, the last book, you're going to like it. I updated it. And again, the why. One of the reasons, and I even put this in the book, is autoimmune. Because when you're eating eggs, meat, and cheese, your body loves that. It lowers inflammation because you're lowering insulin. Insulin is a very inflammatory, insulin resistance is a very inflammatory, like if I could have talked to this doctor, what was his last name again? Come on. I don't know if I wrote a T. Well, I can't even read my writing. I've got Mallory's, okay? Or Matteries. I don't know if that's a T or an L, okay? I flunked writing. I love writing, but I can't read my own writing sometimes, okay? Now, this doctor, let me call him Joe, because it's Giuseppe, okay? Or is that Jim? No, I think it's Joe. He looked at obesity, but he didn't talk about insulin at all. If he would have called me, I would have said, well, look, the reason that we have so much obesity is because we have insulin resistance. That's metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome is at the root, okay? Because I always do this, guys, okay? And I'll just show you in my head, okay? I want to show you something, okay? So I'm just going to take a blank sheet of paper, okay? And I'm going to show you this, okay? See the blank, okay? But now I'm going to draw, and I can't draw, but let me do this, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? See those little, see the circle, whatever? And I put heart disease on one of them, okay? I put cancer on the others. Those are the things that will kill you. Heart disease, cancer, chronic diseases that we're losing the war to, okay? Alzheimer's, okay? And diabetes, obviously, number 4. And number 5 on the hit parade, autoimmune, okay? Now, in the circle, I'm going to write I, S, or H, I, C. Oh, excuse me, HCI. Okay? Now, you can see this, it's upside down to you. You see why I flunked art? Okay? Can't even draw a circle properly. But it doesn't matter. This is the way my head thinks. Okay? So, in that circle is high circulating insulin or insulin resistance, IR. Okay? Here's me, how I think. Whenever you have insulin resistance or high circulating insulin, too many carbs, too much sugar. My name is Tony, and I'm a carboholic. If that's how you get it, there's no other way of getting insulin. Look, we did talk about it, yes. Even statin drugs can give you some insulin resistance. But let's look at 95% of the population. How do they get insulin resistance? They insist on carbohydrates in their diet. And when they do the food pyramid, okay, which has been wrong, which is still wrong, they got the food pyramid upside down. Because the whole basis of the food pyramid is you gotta have grains, Dr. Martin. Grains. No, you don't. Why do you think we got so much obesity and so much autoimmune and so much of all of that stuff? Because we're eating grains and cereal. Well, Dr. Martin, how am I going to go to the bathroom without my grains? Well, you'll find a way. Ooh. But look what I'm doing. The circle, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, autoimmune, high circulating insulin. Because high circulating insulin, okay, creates an inflammatory response. And when you have high circulating, you can be skinny as a rake, by the way. Some people have, you know how your body protects yourself? It really is amazing. The body has a protective mechanism. And part of that protection is it stores fat. Okay? It stores it. And some people have an enormous ability to store fat. Go to the mall. Okay? Go to the mall. Okay? And sit down, have a coffee, and watch people. And then if you're my age or close to it, remind yourself what the world was like before 1980. Just go in your mind. What was the world like before 1980? Well, we sure didn't see what we're seeing today. And you see obesity. You see it in children. You see it in everyone. Belly fat. And you see people that are much bigger than they used to be. What is that? That's insulin, my friend. Insulin is a growth hormone. Okay? It makes things grow. Now, you can be skinny and have high circulating insulin. You just don't know it because you can't see it. But inside your body, you're getting this fat around your organs. You don't see it. It's silent, but oh, it's as dangerous as being obese. And one of the blocks that building blocks for autoimmune is insulin resistance. Leaky gut, no exceptions. And insulin. This guy mentioned obesity. No problem, I agree with him. But even skinny people can get autoimmune because they have inflammation too, and they have fat, but you can't see it. It's around their organs. It's around their gut, but they may have a little bit of a belly fat, and they're skinny as rakes. But not healthy. And my friend, I'm going to tell you something. It's food. It's food. It's the thing you can change. It's the thing you can help yourself with. People A lot of people don't get the memo. I used to, I'm a touchy guy. Okay. I used to get in people's face in my office, okay? And say, Linda, listen, you're in trouble. I took all your biomarkers and your inflammation markers through the roof. And you got leaky gut. And you got high A1C. And you got triglycerides that are too high and HDL, which is too low. You're in deep trouble. You're on the Titanic. Go home and change your eating. And hold on now. I didn't say that was going to be easy. But if you value your life, if you know someone with autoimmune, okay, get them to get on the reset for 30 days. It will lower all their markers of inflammation. Now, is it going to cure it? I didn't say that. Is it going to make it better? You bet your boots it will. Because that's the thing you can control. Okay? That's the thing you can control, is what you put in your mouth every day. Okay. Guys, we got a great week. We got a great week coming. Okay? Because I read a few more studies on the weekend that I really found fascinating. Okay? I flagged them. We'll talk about them. Okay. Now, what is Friday? Question and answer Friday. Get your questions in. People ask questions, and I love that. Questions. Okay? We appreciate that. Okay? Because you can't have a show on Fridays of question and answers if I got no questions. But you guys are wonderful. You send me lots of questions, which we appreciate. Okay? If you're not a member of the private Facebook group, Martin Clinic, then you got to be a member. Join up. It's free. Do you get our emails? You don't? Well, sign up at martinclinic.com. Sign up for our emails. We put a lot of information on those emails. Okay? Okay. Guys, we love you, and we'll talk to you soon.